Okay, so we're going to start with a little, first I actually want to start with a quick question. My afternoon class requested that we not do the vocab drill every time, that we sometimes do vocab drill and sometimes just go straight into more grammar practice. Do you guys like that idea for this group as well, or would you rather start with a vocab drill every time?
I like the vocab.
You like the vocab?
I mean the grammar.
You like the grammar better? How many people feel like going through a quick once through of the vocabulary helps them? Okay. Yeah. Now, do you like the 3x3 where we repeat all of them, or do you rather we just go through it kind of quickly?
I think we should just kind of
Go through it quickly, just kind of review.
Yeah.
And do you prefer going through it from the textbook or from flashcards? I'm a little bit slower with the flashcards just because of flipping them,
Yeah.
but it gives everybody the practice of trying to read it without the romaji staring at them.
Some of the words you have in there, are they in a book or?
There are a couple in here that may not actually be in the book, but they're good to know, and they are in the PowerPoint that's saved to Canvas. Yeah. One of the things that happened when I was making this is I copied and pasted from the web page for the course, from the Genki Online, the official website of the textbook, but the vocab lists they have posted are still the ones from the first edition text. They don't actually have them updated yet online. So there's a little bit of discrepancy. And I added a couple of the higher numbers just because I think it's good to know how the system works, even if we're not really working with things beyond MON very much. Okay, so should we go through the flashcard way for now? And 1,000, and practice reading it as well, so that is sen. Okay, which means over, well, that thing that's over there, yeah, are. Ikura is how much, yes. Expensive, right? Ja is 11, in that case. Futsu are shoes, right? Kasa, everybody had one today? You needed one today, didn't you? Here. Koko is here. Right, there's a kasa. Ano.
That thing.
It could be that thing way over there, like anohon, that book that's over there, or it could also be that word, ano.
Yeah.
So it depends on context. You'll be able to tell pretty well which one they mean. Niku is meat, right? Sai is vegetables, right? Is this thing that's close to me, yeah. Fish, right? Watch, yeah. Right. Ginko is a bank, yeah. America is America, right? Yes. Jeans. This thing here, yeah. Domo. Thanks. It can be a casual thanks. It can be it can be added to other things to make something more polite sounding. Several. Dare is
Which one?
who. Dare desu ka? Who is it? Right. Asoko means over there. Yeah, this is the ko ones are location. The ko endings are location. So asoko means over there. Hi, Hankoku is Korea. Keizai is economics. Hi. Business is business. Kare is curry. Kari. Right.
What is car?
Car, well, the Japanese word for car is kuruma, but you could also do ka. But kare is curry, and doa is what you've walked in through. Right? Doa. Right. Mado. Window, yes. Pen. Yes, pen. Okay, oh, this one is just laying here, so. Where, yeah, doko desu ka? Where is it? Isu means, anybody? What are you sitting in? Yeah, isu is a chair, isu. Tsukue. What goes with an isu? A desk, yeah. Tsukue is desk. Tsukue. Tsukue. It's got some of the same sounds in it.
Bag.
Yeah, kaban is a bag. Right?
Soba.
Yeah, soba are noodles. Yep, Japanese food.
Cola.
Koda.
Coca-Cola.
Hi, koda, the drink. Okay. Sarada. A salad.
Sore.
That thing near the person listening. And soko. A location near the person listening. Yeah. So if, like, I don't know, Andrea's looking all over. Where's my umbrella? Where's my umbrella? Soko desu. It's right there next to you. It's a pretty one. Which? Yeah, dono is which. Like, dono hon desu ka? Which book is it? Okay. So like you're saying, hey, pass me that book, and there's 3 of them in a row. You're like, dono hon desu ka? Which one? Sono, that one closest to you. Dore desu ka would be which when you're not naming the noun. So like somebody says, hey, pass me that. And you say, dore desu ka? Which thing? There's like 5 things in front of me. What do you mean? Dore. Oishii means delicious. Right? So for example, soba wa oishii desu would be soba is delicious. Tonkatsu, pork cutlet. Yeah, they translate it in this book as pork cutlet. Yeah, basically think like chicken fried steak only with pork. And katsu. Yeah. So, right. Right. Dictionary. T-shirts, it's self-explanatory.
It gets in a way with just the T.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. I might make a fresh copy of this one that does the T in katakana. I think that's better practice. Noto is notebook, right? Boshi is a hat, right? Restroom, right? Toire. 2000, right? England, right? She is history, right? 100, right? Yen, yep. Japanese money. 200. Once upon a time, that was about the bus fare. A lot of bus was in the city. I don't know if that's still true though. Dozo would be here. Please take this. So, for example, if somebody asks you for something and you're passing it to them, dozo. Okay. Let's go through some of these guys now. Kusen means how much? 9,000. Right. 7,000. Right. 6,000. Right. 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 2만, which is 20,000, right? 2만 would be 10 mon, which would be 100,000. Yeah, that's where it starts to throw you off, right? 8만 would be 80,000. 60,000. 1만 is 40,000, right? Kissaten is a cafe, coffee shop. Keshigomu? Eraser, yes. Keshigomu. Hai, wakarimashita ka? Got it? Understood? And then wakarimashita is I understood you. I got it. Hai, wakarimashita. Wakarimasen? Don't get it. Okay. ゆっくり言ってください。ゆっくり言ってください。Please say it slowly. はい。聞いてください。Please listen. はい。はい。10ページを見てください。Look at page 10, please. はい。10ページを見てください。はい。電気。Anybody? Hi. Electric lights or electricity in general. 電気。Curtain. Curtain. Curtains. Yes, curtains. はい。定食。定食。Anybody? 定食。Something you eat, something you order in a restaurant.
Oh, it's the set menu.
This is the set menu one, yes. Yeah, that one will make more sense to you once you've actually had it in a Japanese restaurant. Then once you've seen them, then you'll understand and be able to remember the term easier. Spaghetti. Hi, spaghetti. Just what it sounds like. Okay, yeah, one thing, if you're not going to be eating in a fancy Japanese restaurant anytime soon, look up teishoku online and see if you can get some images off of Google or whatever, and then you'll have a good idea of what they're talking about with teishoku. Udon is noodles, yeah. Any of these foods, if you haven't experienced them yourself yet, you could look them up, and I'm sure there are images online. Hi, sandwich. I'm sure you've all had that one before, right? Ice cream. Yeah, you can't grow up in America without having that at least once, right?
I don't think it's just America. I think you're in any other country. If you haven't had ice cream during the summer, where have you lived?
Yeah. Somebody somewhere without refrigeration, maybe. Ramen. Ramen would be ramen, exactly.
Survival of
Yes.
survival of college students.
Yeah. Hamburger, another friend of college students, right? Hamburger. Hoagie, another friend of college students and all-nighters. Kocha, black tea, yeah. So if you're not a coffee drinker, you might go for kocha instead. Juice. Juice is something you probably drink in the morning. Something else you might drink in the morning.
Oh, it's the
Blackboard.
Yeah, kokuban is a blackboard, yes. And the kanji for this koku is the kanji on his shirt, the top one.
it's pronounced differently.
Yeah, kuro and hoku are two different readings for the same kanji.
Did you know that was Japanese?
Oh.
Did you know that was Japanese? I didn't.
Kyoshitsu. Yeah.
Sen man.
You're in the right concept, but not quite. Does everybody remember how to figure it out? Let's do the math. Okay, so you know that this one is mon, right? So you can label this one mon. The next digit, the next place value after that is going to be juman. The next one after that is going to be hyakuman. And then the next one after that is going to be senman. Okay, so senman is actually
10 million.
10 million. Yeah. Yeah. Hyakuman would be
1 million.
1 million. Yeah. So senman is 10 million. Okay, and that, by the way, is my recommended method anytime you're getting confused. You can actually label all of them. Ichi, ju, hyaku, sen, then man, and then juman, hyakuman, senman. If you label all of them like that, it helps you keep track. If you just memorize ichi, ju, hyaku, sen, man, you've got the order, right? And then after man, you just repeat. You don't do the ichi, but you do the ju, hyaku, sen. Okay? And then here, this place would be a new word in place of ichi and man. And then you would repeat again. This one would be oku, and then you would do ju, oku, hyaku, oku, sen, oku. And I don't even know what the word after that is because I've never had to count that high before. Yeah, at that point you're getting into like nationals budget kind of numbers, or mathematicians talking about the origins of the universe kind of stuff. Yeah, so unless you're planning to be a PhD scientist in Japan, you probably don't need to go any higher than senman. Okay, so senman is 10 million, right?
Hyakuman.
We just
1 million.
1 million. We just talked about that.
Kyuman. 930,000.
Yeah, Q-mon. Which category does that go into? Q is a 9, right? So it's not over to here yet. It's still in this category. So Q-mon would be 90,000. See how helpful that is? You can use that tool, right? Because if you look at, well, Q is a plain digit, right? It's a single digit. So, and this is mon, so it goes in this category. If it were Jumon, you're over here already. Or Juichimon or something, right? Okay. What's this one? Goan is 50,000. Sanman is, what was it again? 30,000, right? Chichimon would be 10,000. There you go. Hasen is 8,000. Yeah. Sanzen is 3,000. Right. Hyaku is 800. Yeah. Ropyaku is 600. Sambyaku is 300. Please give me something or other, right? Kudasai is please give. Blank onegaishimasu is again, please give me something or do something for me.
So like in that blank, would you would a noun go there?
Yes, for now, the only way you know how to do this is to put a noun here. Later, like second semester, we learn other things we can do with onegaishimasu or kudasai. But for now, just put a noun, o, and then onegaishimasu or noun, o, kudasai. Welcome to what? Our store, yes. Welcome to our store. Father, right? just what it sounds like, right? Please say it one more time. Hai, mo ichido itte kudasai. Please wait, right? Nanaman is 70,000, right? And computer. Just what
I
it
just
sounds
have a
like.
question about those dashed lines.
Uh-huh.
And because I was doing the workbook,
Uh-huh.
and they had it with the hiragana. Does it appear the same way in the katakana?
Okay, that's a good question. When they do hiragana spellings, they normally spell out the,
The word, the letters.
the
that's what I
letters.
thought.
But when they do katakana, they normally do the dashes.
It's like I was.
So like computer, this is the normal spelling, right? Sorry. Okay, let's try this for real. Computa, right? That's the normal proper spelling in katakana. However, if you're writing it in hiragana, the normal way to write it in hiragana is ta. Feels weird to write this one in hiragana.
Because like, look at here. Like they have the dashes with the hiragana.
Okay, yeah.
'Cause that's
They're
not-
doing that on purpose just so you'll know where the dashes go,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Okay,
So
I
if-
just-
This is actually non-standard, right? This is the norm,
Okay.
okay? But sometimes when they're doing furigana, you'll see this done in little itty bitty print up above, or sometimes our textbook does little itty bitty print underneath for some reason, but up above is more common in Japan. That is called furigana. Furigana. Okay? Furigana are used to indicate pronunciation whenever they think the target audience might not know the proper pronunciation. So if it's aimed at little children, there's a lot of furigana on kanji and sometimes even on katakana if it's aimed at really little kids who might not have studied that yet. If it's aimed at older kids who they expect to already know katakana and a few kanji, then there'll be some kanji that are left without furigana and some kanji that have it. If it's aimed at adult readers or late teen readers, they'll only put furigana on kanji that are really unusual so that even a native speaker might not be expected to know it, or kanji for, say, a Chinese person's name where the person wants it pronounced a certain way that's not necessarily what a Japanese person would guess. So they'll do it for like Chinese and Korean names because they have kanji names, but it needs to get pronounced differently. So they'll put furigana on that, or they'll put furigana on kanji or katakana that they think the target audience doesn't necessarily know. That's why furigana dictionaries are great, because if you're looking up a word in English to find out the Japanese word for it in a paper dictionary, if it's one that's made for native Japanese speakers, there's no furigana. But if you buy a furigana dictionary that's aimed at non-native speakers who are learning Japanese, so they put furigana on everything that isn't hiragana, so that you can actually figure it out. If you look up school and they give you this, they give you that kanji. If they don't give you the furigana for that, how are you supposed to know how to read it, right? But if they give you this, then you're home free, right? And then if you're not learning kanji yet, you can just ignore that part and read this part. And if you are learning kanji, then you can look at that part and say, oh, that's how they write it. Okay?
It's so intimidating.
Okay, don't look. We're not there yet. Don't worry about it yet.
Now, are you allowed to like mix the dashes with the hiragana or no?
Okay, the dashes like in, okay, so let's say koga was written like that, right? But let's say for some reason you're writing it in hiragana. This way of writing it is considered substandard. It's like shorthand or text speak or something. It's legible. Japanese people can read it, but don't put it in your essay for your teacher. Does that make sense?
It's like slang like we do.
Yeah, it's like, if you're texting your friend on your little phone, or whatever, if that's faster, then probably a lot of Japanese students use that when they're texting on their phones. Or if they're writing a quick note to their roommate on a piece of sticky paper and leaving it on the fridge before they leave to go someplace. They probably would use that kind of shorthand when they're just writing casual stuff. But if that is what goes into their essay for their Japanese lit class, not likely to be acceptable. Yeah, so that's the difference. So they're doing it in your workbook that way deliberately because they're assuming that if they did it this way, which would be the normal way to spell it in hiragana, then you, in converting to katakana, would probably think you had to do this, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you'd be confused,
Yeah.
right? So they're doing it this way to show you this is what we're trying to get at.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Before I thought I had to like do
Yeah.
something else.
Right. So they are showing
Explain
you.
it more.
Yeah. There are a lot of things in this textbook where they could have explained it more. Yeah, that's one of the issues with this textbook. It's one of the reasons why I think it's a good textbook for a class, but not for self-study. There's just too many things that they don't fully explain. So if you were doing this without any help, it would be challenging, right? Okay, so I want us to go ahead and work on this part next. Let's look at kono hon wa ikura desu ka, that segment. Okay. So we're going to be working with kono sono ano now. Last week we did a lot with kore sore are, right? Kore wa hon desu, sore wa kaban desu, are wa doa desu, right? Now we're going to do kono hon, kono enkitsu, kono noto, whatever. And the information that we're giving is going to be prices in this case. So remember with kore sore are, all you're really doing is you're saying this is X, right? You're identifying this that I'm pointing to is a certain type of thing, right? Now we're saying this thing is, and here's more information about it. So this thing is 60 yen, or this thing is 150 yen, or whatever the price may be. So let's have Emily-san read the example. We're on page 72 page, yes. 72 page. Okay.
この鉛筆は60円です。
Hi. So you can see how that corresponds to that first picture, right? She's the one speaking in the headband. She's the one holding the thing. So therefore she uses kono because she's the one holding it and she's the one talking about it, right? Okay? And you can tell she's the one speaking because she's the one with the little speech bubble, right? So she's the one speaking in all of these. But depending on whether it's near her or near the other person that she's speaking with or near something else, far from both of them, that's going to control whether you're using kono, sono, or ano, right? And then depending on what item it is she's talking about, you need to put that noun in the place, right, after the no. And then after the wa, you're going to put what? The price. Okay, so aren't you glad we just practiced our numbers? So let's do it. So we're gonna let Seta-san read Ichiban.
そのペンはsorry
290
円です。
はい、そうですね。290円です。いいですか? Everybody get how to do the numbers like that? Okay, so このペンは290円です。That's the grammar structure we're working with. はい、じゃあ、2番。
So コンピューターは6万
はい。
8000
はいです。はい、6万8000円ですね。6万8000円。Excellent. Okay, Andrea さん、3番。
その財布は4300円です。
はい。Okay, 4番、Avery さん。
この辞書は3500円です。
はい。はい、じゃあ、デランさん、5番ですね。
自転車は17000円です。
はい、そうですね。Any questions about how those work? Okay, making sense? はい。Okay, so now we're going to continue with ano, kono, and sono stuff, but now we're going to bring it into a little bit of a mini dialogue, okay, where you're going to be, one person's going to be the customer, the other person's going to be the store attendant, and we're not going to worry about that third line where the customer says, please give me that one. We're not going to worry about that one right now because this was assuming that you were going to be practicing just 2 people at a time and going through the whole list. Oh, how much is that? How much is that? How much is that? How much is that? Oh, okay, I'll just have that one. You know, you ask about every price in the store just to pester the person, and then you decide on the cheapest item is the one you're going to buy. You know, that kind of deal. But so we're going to have Tatiana-san be this customer in the example, and Ethan-san be the store attendant in the example, and just read the example dialogue first.
この本はいくらですか?
2100円です。
Hi. Okay, so they're referring to the example in the picture, which is that book, right? And it's labeled with a price tag. So, この本はいくらですか? 2100円です. Right? Now, some of the things that are numbered, you'll notice they don't have price tags next to them. Why not? Because the information is in the other chart. So you have to look for, let's see, it says 81 page, right? So looking at 81 page, you see card B. That gives the other half of it. So for these first 5 of them, when it's your turn to ask the question, you'll be looking at card A, but to answer, you'll be looking at card B, and vice versa. Make sense? So we're going to all take turns doing one and then the other. So Isan-san, you're going to read the number 1 question from card A. So you're going to be asking about the umbrella, and Jack is going to be answering with the price for the umbrella, which is on page 81. Okay? いいですか? So, Ethan-san, you get to read, you get to ask how much the umbrella costs.
I'm just looking for an umbrella.
Okay, and Okay, and because you're the customer, which is in the foreground, and the umbrella is near the store attendant who is,
Sona, right?
right, exactly.
Sona Casa?
Right. Hai, sono kasa wa,
Sona Casa wa, I'm trying to figure out how to ask now. I'm sorry.
the question is right there in the example, so,
So I just say the rest of it?
Yeah. hai,
Okay. Sona Casa wa ikura desu ka?
hai, and then he answers with,
1050円です。
はい、1050円ですね. Okay, so does everybody see how that works? So whatever noun you're supposed to be using, and whichever location, indicator word belongs there, you just change out that first part and the rest of the question is the same. And then for the answer, you're dealing with the price tag, whichever price tag you're looking at. Okay, so Dr. you get to ask number 2 about the wallet, and Emily-san is going to answer, which is the wallet on this other page. So you've got a price tag to look at there. Okay, どうぞ.
この財布はいくらですか?
Is it kono or sono? Because you're now the customer. So. Okay, so one more time.
その財布はいくらですか?
Hi, and then she's going to answer. The 7,350.
Yeah. This is supposed to be.
So you're doing the 7,000 one, so you need,
Yeah.
the 7,000.
Okay, so it was whatever. Nanasen Sanhayaku.
Sanbyaku.
Sanbyaku. Goju. And that's.
はい、7,350円です。はい。Okay, now you get to ask about the next one, which is the pencil, which is closer to you.
So it'd be kono. That's it. Kono pen wa.
I think it's supposed to be a pencil.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a pencil. Okay. Kono pencil wa ikura desu?
Enpitsu.
Enpitsu ikura desu ka?
Kono enpitsu
Wa ikura desu ka?
There you go.
Sorry.
Enpitsu wa ikura desu ka? And she answers with,
Gojusa, no,
はい、
Gojusa,
san,
san,
en,
and this.
はい、53円です。はい、いいですね。53円です。はい、じゃあ、佐藤さん, you get to ask about the t-shirt that's way over there.
T-shirt は
T-シャツ。
T-shirt はいくらですか?
はい、and Alex is going to answer.
3,000
はい、
3,780円です。
はい、そうですね。はい、now, Alex-san, you're going to do Goban, the shoes, and Andrea's going to answer you about the shoes.
靴はいくらですか?
はい、そうですね。Okay, now it's going to be the same deal, only the questions are labeled in the card B. So Andrea-san, you're looking at card B number 1, which is the clock behind the attendant. Okay, and you're asking how much that is, and Avery-san, you're going to find the answer on card A for the price. どうぞ。
1万2,300
2000.
Yeah. 600
600
と100
600
100
はい
円です。
はいはい、so 12,600円ですね。はい、どうぞ。Avery san, you're asking about the bag near the attendant.
この
It's, you're asking about it, but it's not near you, it's near the attendant, the historic clerk. Kono would be if it's closer to you.
その
はい。
そのカバンはいくらですか？
はい。
4000
はい。
200円です。
はい、そうですね。Okay, now you are asking about 3番, which is the pen.
このペンはいくらですか？
はい。
300
はい。
15円です。
はい、315円ですね。Okay, now you're asking about, let's see, 4番 is the hat.
あの帽子はいくらですか？
Is that? Price on the hat is,
I'm trying to think of that word for 1,000.
okay, sen.
18 sen?
No. It's 1,800.
So that'd be sen han.
Sen, and then,
Sen han. It wouldn't be hachi first. Or would it?
well, hachi, but it shifts to that pronunciation, hapyaku.
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 So then it would be sen hapyaku. And that's.
はい、そうですね。Okay, now you're asking about the jeans.
ジーンズはいくらですか
7350です。
50
円です。
はい、いいですね。7350円ですね。Okay, いいですか
You know, the numbers are way harder than sono kono.
Yeah, well, that's why it's good that we practice them, isn't it? Okay, and an activity like that is probably going to be part of your OPI, where you're actually going to have blanks where you need to write in the price that the other person told you for different items, and maybe even write in what the item was. So, you know, I might have you asking, you know, one person might be told, okay, ask how much is the bag, and the other person has to tell them that the bag is X amount, and then the first person would write down the amount for the bag.
Would we be allowed to repeat the number back?
Oh, yes, yes, and I will have little prompt cards for you to remind you how to ask. もう一度言ってください and ゆっくり言ってください so that you can actually ask the other person to repeat the number back as many times as you need so that you can get it down accurately. And then you'll turn in your little slips of paper that have the numbers on them, and that will give me another piece of information for the grade. Because it'll show me comprehension, that you could not only ask the question, but you could understand what they answered. Okay, so moving on, we're going to look at Ginko wa asoko desu. So here we are talking about asking and answering questions about locations of things. Okay, so we're going to get Emily-san and Seto-san to read the examples for us again.
24?
はい、74ページです。74 So,
すみません、銀行はどこですか？
あそこです。
ありがとうございます。
はい, that's the way it's gonna go, okay? Everybody understand how that works? So we've got the person with the little speech bubble and the question mark. is asking the question and the other person is answering, right? And so, again, the person answering is going to use either koko, soko, or asoko, depending on what fits based on this picture, right? So, ichiban, Sveta-san, you get to ask, and Alex gets to answer.
すみません、トイレはどこですか？どこですか？
はい。どこですか？
No, would it be koko desu ka?
はい、ここです。Because, yeah, she's standing right by it, so ここです。And then you answer with,
ありがとうございます。
はい。じゃあ、2番、どうぞ。You're asking Alex, and Hope is answering.
すみません、図書館はどこですか？
あそこです。
ありがとうございます。
はい、いいですね。じゃあ3番どうぞ。
すみません、靴はどこですか？
そこです。
はい、そこです。
ありがとうございます。
はい。じゃあ4番どうぞ。
すみません。山下先生
はい、山下先生。
はどこですか？
はい。
あそこです。
はい。どうぞ。5番。Oh, you forgot to say thanks.
ありがとうございます。
はい。
すみません、メニューはどこですか？
そこです。
ありがとうございます。
はい。じゃあ6番。
すみません、辞書はどこですか？
そこで。
Where is it in relation to the person who's answering? In her hand, so Hi. Hi, ここです. And then you say thanks.
ありがとうございます。
Hi. Okay, いいですか? Any questions about how those work? Okay, let's look at the next segment. これは誰の傘ですか? Okay, who remembers what dare is? Who, right? And dare no changes it to whose. Yeah. So notice that no endings serve the same function in a lot of different circumstances, right? It's still that same kind of connection that it was last chapter. Sensei no hon desu, teacher's book, right? Or daigaku no sensei desu, the teacher of college, right? Here we have dare no kasa desu ka? Okay, so let's have Jack read A and Emily read B of the example. Yeah, that one.
これは誰の傘ですか？
マリさんの傘です。
Right, so does everybody see how the pattern works for how to ask the question and how to answer the question? Okay, so, and again, we're going to be switching roles each time instead of after 5 and all that. So picture A is showing you the items, and let's see, okay. Hachijini Peiji. If you look at Hachijini Peiji, you've got various people showing possession of various items. So if you're the one asking, you just have to ask about whichever item is your number. If you're the one answering, you have to look at that item and then figure out who's got the one that looks like that. Okay, so we're going to let Emily-san to Sveta-san ask and answer ichiban. So,
これは誰の靴ですか?
はい。ですね。
スーさんの靴です。
はい、スーさんの靴ですね。Okay, sveta-san2番。
これは靴の
これは
これは誰の靴ですか？
はい、これは誰の靴ですか？ Alex-san, can you figure out whose shoes those are? They're white and they're kind of like loafers.
山下先生
No, these are kind of brown loafers or black loafers. What about Mary? Don't, do Mary's shoes look like white loafers?
Yes. ナリさんの靴です
Hi. Yes, yeah. Sorry, the artwork in this is not exactly helpful. Times. Okay. じゃあ、Alex-san、3番。どうぞ。
これは誰の本ですか？
はい。
山下先生の本です。
はい、そうですね。He's the only one holding a book at the moment. じゃあ、どうぞ。4番。
これは誰のカバンですか？
はい、これは誰のカバンですか？
ロバートさんのカバンです。
はい、ロバートさんのカバンですね。はい、どうぞ。
これは誰の自転車ですか？
はい、いいですね。
たけしさんの自転車です。
はい、そうですね。
OK。
6番。
これは誰の帽子ですか？
たけしさんの帽子です。
はい、そうですね。
これは誰のカバンですか？
はい、
スーさんのカバンです。
はい、そうです。はい、じゃあ8番どうぞ。
これは誰のカバンですか？
ゆりさんのカバンです。
はい、そうですね。じゃあジャックさん9番どうぞ。
これは誰の帽子傘ですか？
帽子ですか？ There's no casa in there.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So もう一度。One more time.
Okay. これは誰の帽子ですか？
はい。
これですか？
はい、これは誰の帽子ですか？ Who's got a hat like that?
スーさんの帽子です。
はい、そうですね。スーさんの帽子ですね。はい、じゃあ10番。About the t-shirt.
これは誰の T シャツですか？
はい、
ロバートさんの T シャツ。
T シャツ。
T シャツ。
はい。はい、T シャツです。はい、ロバートさんの T シャツですね。いいですか？ Any questions about how those work? Does everybody feel like they'll be able to apply that? Okay. Let's keep moving. Okay, so お母さんも日本人です。So now we're going to practice these sentences where you're making a statement about one person and then you're making an also statement about the second person or the second noun, okay? It doesn't have to be people. But does everybody understand the concept and the structure we're dealing with here? Let's see, whose turn is it? Who just did T-Shatsu? Okay, so let's have Alex-san read the two examples. It's actually one thing, but you're doing two sentences, so.
はい。お父さんは日本人です。
日本人。
日本人です。
はい。
お母さんも日本人です。
はい、そうですね。So does everybody see how it works? What happened to the wa in the second sentence? It got replaced by mo, okay? So when the sentence is about two different topics, in this case otosan and okasan, who have the same description about them, the wa changes to mo for the second sentence. But you cannot combine these into one sentence yet. We don't, that's a much more complex grammar structure. Don't worry about it. Okay, so for now, all we're doing is A is this, B is also this. Okay? So 1番、アンドレアさん。
メアリさんは日本製です。カーロスさんも日本製です。
はい、いいですね。じゃあ、エブリさん、2番。
このカバンは5800円です。
はい。
あのカバンも
はい。
5800円です。
はい、perfect。3番。はい。
For that one, instead of saying like we were talking about her bag, can you say watashi or do you have to say kono?
Ah, good question. So if you're assuming that the bag she's holding is one that belongs to her, then you could use watashi no. If you're speaking from her perspective, watashi no kaban wa 5800円です。あのカバンも5800円です。So yes, if you're assuming that you're speaking from her perspective and it's your bag, you could use watashi no instead of kono. But if you're talking from a different perspective, you know, kono works also. はい。どうぞ、3番。
たけしさんは22歳です。
はい。
ロバートさんも22歳です。
はい。いいですね。じゃあ、4番。皆さん。あー
I didn't know that was my book. I totally forgot.
Yeah, there you go.
Shiji.
Okay, how do you put together this phrase that it's 7 in Seoul right now?
Oh, Imawa?
今、ソウルは、
Oh, Ima Souru wa Shishiji desu.
はい。
Ima Tokyo mo Shishiji desu.
はい、そうですね。It's the same time zone. So, ソウルは7時です。東京も7時です。
Does it matter so much where you put the ima in the sentence?
Time phrases like ima tend to be at the beginning, but they don't have to be. ソウルは今7時です works also. So in general, the rule of thumb is time phrases and topics both come at the beginning of the sentence. So the time phrase can either be right before the wa phrase or right after the wa. Okay? But they're both usually at the beginning of the sentence. The middle of the sentence tends to be things like direct objects, adjectives, indirect objects, other stuff like that, and then the verbs are always at the end. So as we get more complex with our grammar, you'll find that those rules still hold. Okay?
これは野菜です。それも野菜です。
はい、そうですね。じゃあ6番。
そうロバートさんはロンドン大学の学生です。
はい。
ナンシーさんもロンドン大学の学生です。
はい、そうですね。ナンシーさんも。はい。いいですね。Okay, so are we ready for the next segment?
Oh, so this is
Hi.
Shanghai.
Hi. Okay, so now we're getting into how to answer with negative. So-and-so is not X. Okay, so let's have, again, Erika-san read the question and set this on the answer.
マリさんも日本酒ですか？
Why?
いいえ。
Oh,
Gotta read the hiragana.
that's what I thought. I'm like, wait, what? いいえ、日本人じゃないです。アメリカ人。
アメリカ人。
アメリカ人です。
Hi. Notice that America doesn't have the n added to it. It's America Jin, not American Jin. That's kind of redundant. Okay, so America Jin. So, いえ、日本人じゃないです. Do you hear how the janai just gets inserted right before the des? Otherwise, the structure of the sentence doesn't change, right? That's the only thing that you're changing. If you're saying somebody is Japanese, Nihonjin desu. If you're saying they're not Japanese, Nihonjin janai desu. That's all you're doing to it, right? And then you're answering with what the person is instead. And how do we know all this stuff? We've got our handy dandy chart on the following page to get our info from. So this is not just make up random answers as you feel like it. We're actually using the information they're giving us. Okay? So we're going to let Sveta-san ask Alex Ichiban.
たけしさんは中国人ですか？
中国人。
中国人ですか？
いいえ、中国人じゃないです。日本人です。
日本人です。はい。どうぞ、2番。
ロバートさんはアメリカ人ですか？
いいえ、アメリカ人じゃないです。ロバートさんはイギリス
イギリス人です。はい。He's not the whole country of England. He's just one person. イギリス人です。はい。
It's pretty big then.
Yeah, not that bad. Okay, so, Andreaさん、3番どうぞ。
山下先生は韓国人ですか？
韓国人 Korean.
Okay. いいえ、韓国人じゃないです。日本人です。
はい、日本人ですね。はい、どうぞ、次の質問。4番ですね。
ロバートさんの専攻は日本語ですか？
いいえ、ロバートさんの専攻は日本語じゃないです。ビジネスです。
はい、そうですね。どうぞ、5番。
スーさんの専攻は経済ですか？
いいえ、専攻は経済じゃないです。コンピューターです。
はい、そうですね。6番、イーサンさん。Oh, sorry, you're asking him. Sorry. どうぞ、6番。
たけしさんは桜大学の学生ですか？
I'm trying to remember what that percent is.
Students.
Okay.
Trick question.
Do I just,
はい、and then what do you do to complete that sentence?
do I just repeat it?
You can, that's one possibility.
いえ、たけしさんは桜大学の学生ですか？
はい、です。
です。
Okay, so you can say just 桜大学の学生です or そうです。Or you could say はい、そうです。You know, if you don't want if you're going to use just be careful that it doesn't sound too much like いいえ. You know, you don't want any E in there because that would just confuse matters, right? So, 桜大学の学生ですね。Okay, じゃあ、7番, you get to ask Jack.
What's London?
London. London is London. Okay, どうぞ。
メリーさんはロンドン大学の学生ですか？
いいえ、ロンドン大学の学生じゃないです。アリゾナ大学の学生です。
はい、そうですね。はい、じゃあ、ジャックさんとエミリーさん大丈夫ですか？ジャックさんどうぞ。8番ですね。
たけしさんは2年生ですか？
Takashi-san, what is it?
Okay, first you have to do the negative answer. So, いいえ、2年生。
Okay, Janai Das. Yon Nesai Das.
4年生です。
4年生です。
はい、4年生です。2年生じゃないです。4年生です。Okay, 9番, you get to ask Seth the next question.
What happened to you?
I'm so tired. I don't know what happened. Susan wa ichi nensei desu ka?
Yeah, 1年生じゃないです。3歳です。
3年。
3年生です。
はい、3年生ですね。はい、10番, you get to ask Alex.
ロバートさんは4年生ですか？
はい、そうです。
はい、そうです。Easy one. Okay. いいですか? Any questions about how those work? Does everybody feel like they understand how to use じゃないです in a sentence? Does that make sense? It's a good demonstration, right? Everybody has a good feel for it? Okay. Let's see, the last partner work here, we may not have time to finish.
It's a guessing game.
It's like 39. Yeah.
Yeah, so, please do practice that, and we will, come back and do that next class. Let's see what time. Okay, we got through a good amount today, good. So, next class, we will finish up the, oral stuff in this part of the textbook, and we will probably also take some time, if we have time, to go and look at some of the katakana exercises. So please prep as much of that as you can for next time. I'm pleased with how much we got through today, so that's good. I'm going to make note of the fact that we got as far as we did. So we finished through page 76 to 7A. Okay, so for next class, we will start with page 77, part B, and then we will also do the role-playing, store attendant and customer, waiter, waitress, and customer kinds of stuff. And I'm thinking we might also play the game. I've got a store game that some of my students made as an extra credit project some years ago, where a few of you pretend to be store attendants and the rest of you pretend to be customers. The customers each get a shopping list of things they have to buy, some of them with specific price points that they have to look for. And so they have to go and ask, and some of, so there might be 2 or 3 different items that all fit that category, but they're all different price points, so you have to ask, how much is this one, how much is that one, how much is the other one, until you find the one that's the price tag you're supposed to be looking for. And then you buy that one with your play money, and if you buy everything on your list for the prices you were supposed to, you should end up with no money left, but all the items on your shopping list. And it also has little, like, make conversation with random strangers kinds of practice, where you're supposed to, like, ask one of the other customers or one of the shopkeepers that's got free time different questions, like, you know, how old are you, what's your name, blah, 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 just so you're practicing the content that we've had thus far. So it's kind of a fun way to do a role play, and it's got props and everything. So we'll probably do that next class. If we don't get to it on Thursday, we'll do it next Tuesday before the test.
When's the test?
Next Thursday.
I have 2 tests on Monday.
Welcome to college. Okay, ganbatte. Okay, if you need help, if you're struggling with anything, come see me. That's what office hours are for. Most days I'm just sitting there by myself working on stuff because nobody comes to my office hours. So use them.
I was kind of